his name called much in the game. What did you guys do to take him out of the game?
I think we just had our game plan. We knew those backers like to run through and make plays, so we were really trying to just like get our hands on them and make things. But he was still active. He was making a lot of calls for their defense. He seemed like he really took that leadership role. And I think with him and Queen out there, they played pretty good. But we just tried to get our hands on him and make sure we sustained our blocks because we knew they were both really good players.
What do you think about the cyclone bomb that's hitting Saturday? They're calling it a
Cyclone bomb, yeah. Is that because of snow or just coldness?
I think it's like, you ever see The Day After Tomorrow? I think it's like that type of situation.
Oh wow, that's pretty intense. No, we're just getting ready to play football. We understand there's going to be weather, there's going to be elements, but coach stressed all week. We just got to play football. We're blessed to play this game, and we get to play football, and it's going to be a little cold.
Are you no sleeves?
Yeah,
Does
it
it
won't
matter
sleep.
how cold it could be?
I don't think so. I mean, like last game was pretty chilly, you know what I mean? But we have the heated benches and all that stuff on the sideline. The worst part is the TV timeouts when you walk out on the field, because once you're playing and stuff, you don't even really think about it.
I heard Joe Thomas say last week that you try to hang on the bench as long as possible and look at the guy with the orange mittens. Is that a trick?
I mean, I'm too scared to do that because I just see like the rest of the offense out there. But I remember at the end of my career, Joe was doing that, and I was like, "Where's Joe at?" I always did that, and he's like sitting in the warm sweater on the sideline. So he had it down pretty good. Actually, I've seen this year some stadiums have like the TV countdown clock, which is actually really helpful. You know what I mean? Because you're like, "Oh, we got another minute or something,"
So no shirtless warm up for you?
No, I don't. I want to actually go outside anyway for warm up, so I'll keep it in.
Hey, Joel, you come from Nevada, right? You played here outdoors. If you had your druthers, would you like to see a dome stadium as your home field?
Not for me. I like the elements. It adds a little different. When you're playing in a dome at 68 or 70 every time, it's perfect conditions, and I feel like football's an imperfect game. I know there's some people that want, the high-powered offense, you want to see the talent play, but sometimes it's cool to have a little snow. I mean, we didn't have that much, but last game, like night game, the snow was falling. Like, what was better than that? You're out there just playing football, and it just reminds me of things you think about when you're a kid and stuff. So for me personally, I like playing outdoors.
Can Tony ask you that question again after Saturday night?
Yeah, he can actually. We'll see. I'll revise that question.
So with wind, cold, maybe snow, like, do you go in thinking, man, we might have to run it more than we even normally do?
Yeah, I think we're prepared. I think we've put in a normal game plan, but we definitely have. Coach Fancy's always dialed in on, the weather and things of that nature. So he'll have a game plan if we need to run the ball. If they're going to bring a heavy defense out, what can we do to contradict that and stuff like that. So I think a few years ago we had that 3-game home stretch where it was pretty bad weather. Not as cold, but windy and rainy and stuff. So I think we have some history with it as well.
Joe, I know it's still early with Deshaun. How do you see his relationship with Kevin growing as a play caller, just from an offensive standpoint?
Yeah, it's been really good. I think every week you've seen the improvement with the grasp of the offense, and then just him getting more comfortable playing football again after a couple years off. But no, I think they connect, and I think both of them have things they like to do and wrinkles that they like in the offense, and I think they've always had a clean relationship in that sense of talking and saying what they like, and so I think they're just working together to try and get the best offense out there for us.
What can the return of Ethan do for you guys?
Oh, it'd be big. Since he's gotten here, like the work ethic that he has and just his, mentality of learning the offense, playing the game the right way has been huge for our room. And obviously he was playing really good before he got hurt. So having him back out there would be a big boost for us.
Might have been a little question about his mobility in this offensive line system, like when he joined the team. How did he end up?
No, I think he's been really good. Coach has been on him, and that's what Coach Callahan does. He coaches hard, and he's been coaching him hard. One of the hardest since he's gotten here. I think he sees the potential in him. He's a high pick. He's played all the positions on the line, and he's a bigger center compared to kind of what you see in the league. So I think that is a misconception, like, oh, he can't move, but he has big strides. He can move. He's pretty agile, and I've been pretty impressed with him.
You've been stacking up these Pro Bowls, and I think the announcement comes tonight. You might already know for all I know, but just what does it mean when you hear that, and the fact that you've been able to string them? How important is that to you?
It'd be an awesome honor. Like, you especially for an offensive lineman, you don't have stats to really back you up and those type of things. So it's really a way to, look back on the season and say like, hey, I had a successful season. And I think as a player, if you played well or not. And there's definitely some, bias to Pro Bowl voting for linemen, of course. But it's something that you look back on at the end of your career. I think during the season you're like, oh, that's a great accomplishment. But you look back at the end of your career and you can be like, oh, I made the Pro Bowl a few times, and it's a pretty cool honor.
And you're still playing at a real high level, but do you feel like you've kind of gotten that name recognition now, where people just might write you in because you're Joel Bitonio?
I think it happens. We kind of talked about it early in your career where it takes a little while to earn the reputation, and at the end of the career, maybe you get a couple that you don't. But like you said, I feel like I'm still playing at a high level, and still have room to improve and just keep growing my game.
Hey, Joel, without the stats of playmakers, now we have these PFF grades. Do you think Pro Bowl is the greatest assessment of the lineman's career when all said and done?
It's
Or
definitely
what would you think?
it's definitely part of the puzzle. I think All Pro is part of the puzzle too. It's hard with linemen because certain linemen on different teams are asked to do different things. So sometimes there's plays where a guy might be pulling all the time, he might be in the limelight, or a lineman comes into the league with name recognition that gets a shot up at the end of their career. Maybe they've don't deserve the Pro Bowl as much. They get a couple more. So it's a thing. And then you have PFF, who some people say is the holy grail of grading offensive linemen, but then you have coaches that hate it. So I think there's just like, it's not a perfect science, and I think you have to look at the whole picture, and Pro Bowls, All Pros matter. I think it is what it is, but PFF is part of the reality in a crazy, weird way, because people look at that, especially for linemen, and they look and say like, oh, this guy's graded at a certain level, so he must be a certain player. So I think it's just all part of the group, and kind of what you do as well. You have a running back like Nick Chubb, or you have a good offense. I think guys get boosted for that too. So it's a mix of things.
In Joe Thomas's case, where he had one winning season, never blocked for a rushing champion, the #1 offense, and he had 10 Pro Bowls right off the bat. Is that his greatest argument?
I think 10 straight is pretty impressive, because then you're talking about the durability as well. And I think his greatest argument is he played with so many different quarterbacks, so many different people next to him, so many different players, and he was always a dominant force. And I don't think there's anybody making the argument that he got in off his merit. He always was a strong player in this league.